notices by the People's Warden.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. My name is Charles Kamakia. I'm born again. My short assignment is strategic plan implementation coordination. And today, actually this week, we marked 3 months since the official launch of our strategic plan. And so we want to give us, to update us on where we are and then the way forward. I want the strategic planning steering committee to stand up, the members. We are working together with them in this process. Yes, we have our chairman, that is Mr. Mwenda. Then you have our secretary, Caroline Ingutia. The rest, I can't see them. They are not present. We have Captain Lincoln Kagondo, a member, Gibson Waishari, Daniel Kenodia. Then we have Isaac Ikeri and M. Andegwa. And then I'm also a member in that committee. We have 2 committees. I'm heading the implementation committee, which constitutes of the heads of departments, ministry coordinators, and fellowship readers, house fellowship readers. So we are the ones who are reading in the implementation. However, the members of this church are the ones who are implementing. So we are just reading while you are implementing, because this is your strategic plan. I request the media to display the presentation. Yes, having finished the first quarter, it's good that we update ourselves. Whatever you see on the pillars, and here where you have the banner in front, we call them the strategic plan, our strategic plan fundamentals, which cover the vision, the mission, and then we have the core values. Those are the principles that we believe in and that we live. And also, we also have what we call our focus areas, what we call the strategic result pillars. Can you proceed? When you talk of our vision, why do we have a strategic plan? We said it is a clear roadmap that is helping us also to focus our resources, our energies, our efforts, so that we can be able to use the resources that we have in a clear and a good way for better results for our parish. We usually say Anglican Church is a church of order, and so strategic plan is one way to strengthen the order of our church. And so, basically, we have a lot of activities that we do and have been doing. However, the strategic plan helps us to focus more and also to strengthen that order. And so it is very, very important, like the way you have budgets when you're doing your financials and all that. So this is why we have the strategic plan. We have to keep reminding ourselves why we have it. Then next, then you have our vision. When you talk of a vibrant, empowered, and Christ-centered church, is good to understand. You remember last Sunday we had our Bishop Emeritus saying this is one of the most vibrant churches. So what does he mean? If you ask, you are being told you are the most vibrant among the vibrant churches in the Diocese of Nairobi. That means your participation level is very high. Then your ownership level is also very high. And that is so servanthood. And then when you talk of empowered, you have information, and then your capacity is built to serve at all levels, holistically, spiritually, in your departments, you're able to participate because you are very informed and well empowered. Then Christ-centered, our focus is purely Christ. That is our we are rooted in God. That is our Christ, who is when you are saying you are Christian, then your focus is Christ. Then sustainable means then you can be able to continue this for posterity for a very long time. And so for us to have that strength and order for posterity, for the generations that are going to come. Of course, we have our pioneers, Mama Jennifer and the rest, who started the church. How do they feel when they see the church where it is at the moment? Now, 10 years later, where will we be? Can you be a futuristic church that is able to adapt with times and be able to continue? Then transforming. When you come to church, when you participate in our activities, do you feel transformed holistically? Do you feel changed? Do you feel renewed? That is what it means by our vision. Then our mission, when we want to achieve our vision, there must be a pathway. How do we achieve our vision? We have to be holistic, all-rounded, okay? So if we are all-rounded, physical, spiritual, emotionally, socially, even intellectually, then you're able then to achieve our vision. Then you have to be dynamic. Remember the COVID times. How are you able to adapt with such times like those ones? Currently, our congregational composition, how is it? If you check, 57% of our congregation, that is the main church, it is between 20 and 45 years. So that is the biggest congregation. Then, if you look at our children ministry, it is the biggest. Talk of 600 to 700 children. How are we then looking into that generation, into the future, to make sure that they're able to transit all the way to the main church 100%? Okay, then you must be dynamic and be able to adapt to the ways of impacting on them to be able to carry on all the way to the main church. You have talked about transformative. I don't have to repeat that. Next. Then, it means there are certain principles that you have been living, that we have been walking, and you continue living. And these are some of them. When you talk of empathy, when one of us is affected, how do we respond? How do we support? When we talk of equality and equity, if you check of our participation levels at the leadership level in our PCC, we have all generations. We are a cosmopolitan church here as Kasarani, are able to accommodate all cultures. Remember the Cultural Sunday? It was a very beautiful event. And we said we may be looking forward to such. So that is making sure that we are able to give all people equal opportunities to participate. Then when you talk of transparency, you remember what is happening in the 15 million challenge? When you are posting, or our team is giving this update on the hourly basis on what you are giving. That is transparency. How do we hold our AGMs? Okay, how do we participate? Teamwork, of course. We are a team at various levels, in our house fellowships, in our departments. We participate as teams. We have been able to achieve the 15 million mark because of teamwork, the team spirit. Professionalism, how is our church run? How is it governed? Okay? And then in our departments, are we observing governance rules and regulations that we're able to make sure that we are able to continue working together as teams? Then integrity, yes, of course, we uphold values, which shows that we have integrity. Diversity, I've talked about equality and equity more or less. We are diverse in terms of abilities, gifts. Are able to give our gifts to serve the church. Then execution. Of course, in every task, in every assignment we are given, are we able then to go beyond or extra mile to achieve. Then you have our 6 focus areas. These are spiritual growth and development. That is the core value, the core strategic result pillar. Today we are mourning the former Prime Minister. He has exited to the next, okay, promoted to the next. So we are also preparing ourselves, okay? How prepared are you if Jesus was to come for you today? So the spiritual formation, very key. In terms of governance, do we have frameworks, policies, operating procedures that guide us in the way we do things? And that's why you are orderly. Then we have talked about building capacities of our leaderships, our members at all levels. Even the sermons that we receive here, they are going to, or they usually build our capacities. Then we go to number 4, 15 million challenge. We are doing this for a certain project, the plot at the corner, among other projects, which includes improving our church. Pardon me. including improving our church in terms of renovation and such, are we able then to sustainably continue supporting the programs, the projects, and the activities that we have? Of course, we have to collaborate internally and externally, where we are able then to focus or to complement each other with our abilities, resources, and all that. Then the community within the church and outside here, can they feel our presence in terms of the impact that we make? So going forward, that is the way. Then next. Now this is the 6 focus areas into perspective. It means all the 5 strategic pillars all focus on the central strategic result pillar, which is spiritual formation. All the activities that we carry, they are all strengthening our spiritual formation as human beings, because we are spiritual beings. Next. Now, eventually, once we achieve our vision, what do we want to see? We want to see transformed lives. We want to see empowered members. Of course, sustained growth. It has grown, our church has grown from where we had a semi-permanent structure to where we are physically in terms of numbers and such. Then, in terms of how we operate, are we efficient? Are we effective? Are we productive as a people? Then, as a congregation, when you talk of family church, are we really a family church? How do we manage our affairs and affairs of those affected amongst us? Then eventually, do we have adequate and appropriate infrastructure? When you talk of expanding our church, the plots that we are buying, the buildings, do we have enough classes for our Sunday school, for our school, and so on and so forth? Even as a church, we are already overflowing at the tent. Do we need to expand and all that? Thank you. Next. Now, these are some of the flagship projects that you were able to give during the questionnaire session that we did last year between 21st April and 25th May. And number 1, these are programs which are already running, and we continue to have them, the structured programs, to make sure that at all levels, house level, departmental, and even in the church, we have programs that are going to wholesomely grow us as a people. Then sanctuary expansion, I've mentioned about that, now that you're already overflowing. Now, we have talked about acquisition of 3 plots in the next 5 years. Already, we have already acquired 1, 2 more to go. Then we have talked about economic empowerment through SACCO. That's a work in progress behind the scenes through the leadership. A health center, then a comprehensive school already ongoing. We're already at the junior secondary level. Next. Health insurance system for the church that can also benefit the members. Then you have welfare. We surely have welfare at house levels and departmental levels, but can we have a more comprehensive event for our members? We are the ones to determine as the members. So you have a stake. Then you have culinary art school. This came up because of the Mothers Union cookery classes. This it can be taken to another level. Then you have a community college. Then adoption of green energy, very important as we change and harvesting of water and also climate resilience practices. Next. Now, where are we as departments, ministries, and house fellowships? The way to achieve the strategic plan, it is simply to participate as a member. Participate at your level. If you're able to participate, you have already enabled the implementation of the strategic plan. Already you have the 15 million challenge. Have you participated? We have a week to go. Ask yourself, if you haven't, please, it is never late to start. You can start even now. Then you have other initiatives. You remember the Golden Girls from the Mothers Union. We have veteran course for the all our gentlemen who are already left the church because of maybe aging. We are not doing the strategic plan at the expense of some people or at the advantage of some people, because we have a curve cutting across from the young to the old. So it must be all inclusive to make sure every one of us is included. Then we have a committee which is looking at 100% transition. Where do we have our teens at 150 and youth at 50? So how many transit to the main church? Can we have 150 at teens and 150 at youth, and then the same number to the main church. 700 children, where do they go? When you talk of going to Sitam, Nairobi Chapel and the rest, why do they go there? Then we are the ones to give ideas, then how best we can improve on that. And other initiatives. Next. Now, we are going to have quarterly reviews. Now, these reviews are not to police or to prefect us. They are going to help us to identify gaps and also strengthen where we need to strengthen, to improve where we need to improve. And that's why you have the strategic steering committee, planning steering committee to help us so that you can be able to move forward and to keep traction. Where are we missing? Where can we improve and all that? So that we can even enhance the growth of the church. And of course, this is in line with the diocesan strategic direction. So all those are the reasons why we are going to do the reviews. So once the team comes on board, house leaders, departmental heads, and our members, let us cooperate, let us support them. We are doing this for the good of our church. Next. What is required of us? I've talked about reading. Have you read the strategic plan? You have the booklet here in the office. However, we said you want to go paperless. Remember last year AGM, we agreed. And so the strategic plan is available online. That is a QR code. That is the link. If you scan the QR code, you're going to access the strategic plan. Make sure you read and understand the letter in the spirit so that you can be able to participate. We all have faith in Christ, but then we now have a strategy. What is remaining is for us to execute or to implement. And thank you very much for your attention, and God bless you.